Welcome to Nerds Geeks in the Kitchen Sink.
Where all hell breaks loose.
It's going to happen.
Yeah,
It's
it
happening
already
now.
has.
Truly.
Holy hell in a handbasket.
Hi, I'm one of your hosts, DK.
I'm Chris, your other host.
Improve if you feel like it.
See,
And
there you go.
join our Discord if you feel like it. I think uh, we would love to hear your thoughts on tonight's episode. Particularly, we're going to be talking about X-Men 97
Right.
and Late Night with the Devil.
Yep.
And if anyone has any thoughts on those things, we want to hear them. So there's a link in the description of the episode. Come say hi and come tell us why we're right or wrong.
Yeah.
Probably wrong.
Yeah.
Depending. I don't know. Maybe.
You never know.
Chris, I would ask how
Usually
you
not.
are, but I think I have an idea how you are.
Yeah.
Should we skip that?
No, it's okay. It's all right. No, it's just been we've had some issues and just dealing with some stuff, and today I vented quite well, I think.
You ventilated something.
I ventilated several things.
Yes. Like in GoldenEye.
So I didn't really do it in real life.
Right. Right.
Yes.
Helpful and healthy.
Yes. Yes. In a healthy way.
Yes. I've been having a similarly goings of the. Okay, listen. All right, let's just make this clear to people. Normally, we record early in the day.
Yes.
On a weekend, we're rested usually, or maybe just a little hungover. But normally, it's fine.
Yeah.
This is a Wednesday evening.
Yes.
After a full day.
Right.
Of nonsense.
Yes.
So we're here to have a good time, Chris. And God damn it, that's what we're gonna do. But if I fumble some words, please. I want you to sound clip every single one of them and send them to me.
Right.
So I feel bad about myself later.
Build a montage.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. Do that. So hey, if you're still listening, hi. Yeah. I felt like I had something to say, but maybe it was just the Discord thing. Well, we can move on.
That's fine.
So beyond X-Men 97 and Late Night, is there anything you would like to cover before we get into those things?
I know you haven't seen it yet, but I have seen Ghostbusters.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. I mean, it's fine.
That's how I felt about the last one. I thought it was fine.
And that's it. I will say this: it misses some of the. Okay, let me put it this way. It's not really scary, and I have this same way with Afterlife. It wasn't really scary. It wasn't really funny, and it wasn't super action packed.
So what was it?
Stranger Things with less action and not as great dialogue.
That's the vibe I got too, even from the last one.
I'm kind of,
Yeah, you would think there would be more. I mean, I would say that the original has some light scares, but there are moments when they are going for scares.
Yeah.
The library or like running around the hotel, like there are scares in there.
Right. There's actually real decent jump scares.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
But I don't think they were ever. I don't know. Was Ghostbusters ever really scary? Like for a kid?
No. But I mean, even to me, even for a kid at this point, these last two haven't really been,
Yeah, they've been kind of nothing for me.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. But like, we had an okay night sitting on the couch watching it as a family.
Yeah.
It was fine. But I don't ever need to see it again, to be quite honest with you.
No, I'm kind of that way.
Mm-hmm.
It was fine. I mean, it's they did set it up for if they wanted to do another one, but
I'm surprised.
I just don't know how they would with right now with the box office. I don't know how they can justify it unless there's a contract that they have to do a third one.
Did I see that Dune broke $1 billion?
I knew it was close, but yeah, that's one to go back and if it's still in theaters somewhere, especially on a large screen, go see that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I could really go for another round if I can make it to the theater. I would.
Yeah,
I would not mind. Although there are some things in theaters right now that I'm interested in.
Immaculate is one of them.
Immaculate is the one, yeah. And I know there's the First Omen, but when is that? That's not yet, is it?
That's not for about another 2 weeks, I think.
Okay.
It's like late or early to late April.
I'm into some. Give me some devil and nun movies. 'tis the season. I don't know. It's the year 2024 is the year of devil and nun movies.
But I've heard some fairly I won't say like excellent reviews on Immaculate, but I've heard decent.
I
That it
saw
was a
one
pretty decent.
Yeah, I saw one that
You
sold
know,
me on the movie, so I was like,
yeah,
yeah, we need to see this. I don't know if we're going to get that locally or not, but I would like to see it
yeah, I'm not
regardless.
sure.
Yeah, that looks good to me.
Right. So I mean,
Um,
really, honestly, this year, the only other thing that I've been watching, Shogun, is still an
mhm.
awesome series.
Haven't checked it out yet, but
I
I'll
mean,
get
you've
there.
got to, yeah. I mean, this is probably some of the best TV that has been on in quite a while.
Well, like I said, it looks like it has the scope of film. It doesn't
It
look like
does, and I
TV
mean,
to
it
me.
literally does.
Yeah, that's
You
cool.
know,
That's really
so
cool. I think Bones was watching that too.
yeah,
That's
yep.
awesome. I'll
I
get to it.
remember.
I'll get to it.
So, but yeah, that's. I mean, I've been going back and watching some old movies.
Anything worth mentioning?
I with seeing Late Night with the Devil, I went back to some 70s horror movies.
Cool.
I rewatched Rosemary's Baby.
Mm-hmm.
I
A slow burn.
rewatched the original Omen.
Okay, yeah. His mother was a jackal. It's my favorite. That's all I can think
Mess-
about.
Messiah of Evil.
Oh, I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
That one's
So
a weird one. It's not like what
that
you think
is,
it's gonna
yeah,
be.
no. So I was home all weekend by myself. The girls for Bobby's birthday went to Chicago to a
Mm,
concert. So I was kind of able to
yeah.
watch whatever the hell I wanted to for
70s horror sounds great. I'm into
yeah.
it.
So
Cool. Yeah, those are right in line too with Immaculate.
and that's
So
yeah. So that was I was kind of like, I saw Late Night Friday night, watch those 70s movies, and
yeah.
then soon I'll be watching the other. So it kind of bookends the newer movies with the older ones.
Did you see there's I don't know if it's an official thing or not. It probably is. A trailer for the new Omen movie that makes it look like actual 70s.
I haven't seen that trailer.
It's I I truly hope that there is a version of that movie that is fully like that.
Yeah, that would be good.
I can't believe how much it like immediately made me go, "Oh, I like this way more."
I wonder
Uh,
if something like that will be on a DVD, like a
I would buy
4K disc,
I would buy a Blu-ray disc just for that version of the
Yeah.
movie, and I would never watch the other one. I'm all
Well,
about
we'll
the
see. We'll
70s
see.
aesthetic
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
But I couldn't believe how authentic it seemed.
Yeah.
They nailed it.
Yeah. I'll definitely have to watch it.
Like even more so than Late Night with the Devil in some ways. Like
Right.
truly authentic feeling. So
Oh, I forgot. I did watch one other one, because the sequel is already out. Pooh, Blood and Honey.
you watch that?
I watched it. Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
It's the first one is absurd.
Someone said the
I mean,
second one was a better movie.
And I've seen several people that have seen the first one and seen the second one and said the second one is an actual legitimate
Yeah.
good slasher. There's apparently not any kind of spoilers, but there's one scene where, and apparently it's in some kind of nightclub, where they basically kill everyone.
Okay.
Like 70
okay.
people.
When's the last time? All I can think of is Ghost Ship. The first scene of Ghost Ship with that wire
Oh yeah, the cable
kills
yeah.
everyone.
Yeah.
What a cool thing to be in such a shitty movie.
I know, right? But get this, they are making a Pooniverse.
I don't know if I can say that word. I don't know.
The guys that make it, I've seen an interview with them. There is a Bambi horror movie coming out,
Bambi Gets Revenge.
and something like that.
It better be that.
I know, and then there was one that's going to have like all the fairy tale kind of
Team up.
So
all right,
we've come full circle. We're in the era of the 70s horror and Toxic Avenger.
What I don't
style
really,
of horror movies.
This is something that's happening. Like Dune is dominating right now.
Right.
And nary a Marvel movie in sight the movies have changed in 2024.
Yeah.
I'm not sad about that. I would like there to be Marvel movies, but better.
Yeah.
But like, I don't mind there being other things, taking those spots, and like Dune
Oh,
getting it. Like,
I'm
I hope that Dune opens the way for many more things like this to come and be
well,
amazing.
did you know that it's in development now, but they're doing, like I said, coming full circle. They're doing a Barbarella remake.
I'm into it. And I also saw Deathstalker remake.
Sydney Sweeney.
Okay, great.
And
Yeah.
they're gonna go full in more of like tongue in cheek with the movie.
That's fine.
Unlike what it was with Fonda when she tried to,
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see some, like I said.
I'm okay with that. But have you seen Deathstalker? Do you know Deathstalker?
I know the movie, but I haven't seen, or they're making a remake of it?
I just read this, that they're remaking Deathstalker, which on its own is like kind of I rewatched it recently. It's kind of gross. Like, okay, I loved it, but like, it's pretty, I don't know. There's some things that do not hold up well by today's standards, is all I'm going to say. That's fine. You can still enjoy it.
I don't give a shit.
It's just like, there is a rape in every scene. It's like, guys, I mean, really, it's horrible. But anyway, I like Deathstalker. I like the pig dude. I like that movie. Whatever. I'm not going to deny it. Their remake, apparently the guy that did Psycho Gorman is doing a Deathstalker remake.
I'm in.
That's all you have to say.
You had me at Psycho Gorman.
Yes. Psycho Gorman has been a gift that keeps on giving. Every time I rewatch it, I love it. I still love it so much.
Yeah. No, yeah. And like I said, we've come full circle in movies again.
Yeah, it's weird. I just don't know. I just can't predict I can't really tell where we're going right now, like what the trend is.
And then we got the info about on our Discord. One of the people put in that Bones, as a matter of fact, that the producer of Fast and the Furious is gonna take on Spider-Man 4.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I'm like, the guy that produced the worst movie in a long overdue, needing to be done with franchise.
See, I don't have this. I haven't seen a Fast and the Furious since the original, I don't think. So I don't have any info on this.
They're literally on X, 10.
Right. But I haven't seen them, so I couldn't tell you about the quality of how that's, because I know those movies are huge hits though every time, right?
Right.
Or at least box office.
Office.
Yeah. I know that they're a spectacle, and I know that the cars go to space. Like, there's no avoiding knowing about that.
Yeah.
And it's all about the family thing. And if you're listening out there and you love those movies, it's fine. I have nothing against them. I just haven't gone in on that franchise.
Right. But to me, and I even said this in the Discord, something like Spider-Man, and I'm all for getting new blood in directing and producing. You have to have a track record, even if it's in independent films. I would prefer the newer names on some of these great independent films get a chance. But as long as their genre that they've done is kind of in that same landscape, otherwise we get the Eternals.
And I don't hate the Eternals. I think it's like a middle Marvel movie. I think there's worse.
Closer. Oh yeah, there's definitely worse,
but I think did we talk about the fact that we watched the new Marvels movie? Have we talked about that on the show? That I finally saw it. We watched it with Zora.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, she's 11. It's like, to me, it felt like a sleepover type energy, like just like a fun, like a meaningless movie.
But it's like no longer the Marvel movies.
Sure.
That the Marvel movies were intended.
100%. I agree with you. But we did have fun watching it as like a dumb, and I loved.
You had fun watching it with her.
Yeah, of course. And I did, but there was nothing in the movie that made me real mad. And I liked Nick Fury getting to do like actual stuff. Like, he did more cool shit in Marvels than he did in the entirety of the Secret Invasion.
But you
can't deny it.
That Secret Invasion was the worst freaking show that Marvel has ever put out.
I can't disagree with you. I can't disagree with you.
You're not setting a high bar.
What a waste! What a waste of Sam Jackson.
Yeah.
First of all, a great story. What a waste of Sam Jackson, who is just the best there is.
Right.
And what a waste of everybody's time.
Yeah.
Damn.
But I mean, Sam Jackson was not was not Nick Fury in the Marvels.
I thought he was. I thought he was great. He was allowed to be more Sam
Black
Jackson.
Girl Magic. Come on, that was the dumbest fucking line in the whole movie.
I didn't.
That was
hate
stupid.
It.
That was ignorant ass. Nick Fury would never say anything like that.
Look, he's having fun up there in space. Maybe he's got some gamma rays in his brain and he's saying different things. I don't know. I liked it. Anyway, I thought it was fun.
Yeah, I thought it was stupid.
I feel like there was one other thing that I watched that I retroactively needed to tell you about, but I can't remember. But I did not hate
not that big
Marvels.
Of an impression.
Yeah, and again, like I wouldn't put Marvels at the top of the list, but like it was a fine sleepover, little like preteen girl energy movie. I thought.
Yeah.
I truly, and this is, I'll fight you on this if you disagree. The lady that plays Ms. Marvel, what's her name? I can't believe I don't know it. I feel like an asshole. I should
like her. I think she
is perfect.
Horrible for her.
I think she's so good.
I like her as the character. I think they've done her dirty. I really do.
It is weird that they won't let her powers just be what her powers are.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know. Why? That is weird to me. But we can. Whatever. We don't have to harp on this. I know we've talked about this in the past.
I can't remember if we did or not. I think we may have just completely because of the fact that it was irrelevant.
But anyway, I would fight you if you disagreed. I think she's incredible. She's so perfect as that role. So thumbs up there.
That I don't disagree with. Yeah. But I think for them to build her up with a character, they've done her dirty in the writing.
It's just different. She is definitely a lot different. And we will be talking about X-Men 97 tonight. Not that she's in that, but
no.
I want to first, if there's something else to cover here, I would like to get to Late Night with the Devil first.
Let's go ahead.
Yep. And then we'll end with X-Men 97, if that's okay. Okay.
Yep.
So I got to see it on Sunday. I couldn't get to a showing earlier than the movie didn't start till 9 p.m.
Yeah, I was going to say, I went to the 9:30 show on Friday. So
we went to one of the larger theaters. I don't normally get to that kind of a theater, but they did have the guy at the thing was like, hey, do you want, because we were getting drinks and he's like, do you want the Ghostbusters collector's cup? And I was like, does it cost more? He's like, no. I was like, then why are you asking me? Give me the Ghostbusters cup.
Yes. Yeah.
So I got that first of all.
Because the only theater that was playing it was 45 minutes from us.
There was another one that popped up. I was actually able to see it in Springfield.
Oh, okay. I had to go to O'Fallon.
I prefer that. It's an AMC. It's the one on Wabash, or not? Yeah, it's like right off Wabash. I know which one you're talking about. Show Place 12. Anyway, if you're from the area, you know exactly what we're talking about. There's an IHOP across the street.
Mine was the Regal. Mine was the Regal. So yeah.
Is that the Warenberg Theater?
What used to be?
I don't know.
It's the Regal. It's
okay. Anymore. The one I'm thinking of was looking at it was in O'Fallon, and it was the Warenberg one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, anyway. People need to know this stuff.
Yes, I know, right?
So just to get right into it, I really liked Late Night with the Devil. I maybe hyped it up a little much in my brain. I thought it was going to be a 5 out of 5 knockout for me. I don't know if I would put it at a 5 out of 5, but I really did. It was such a great thing to see in the theater. I'm glad I did see it theatrically.
Yeah.
I think it's a special little movie. I have some things here and there, some complaints or things maybe I would have done differently, but I do like it. It's very unique. It's so unique, I think.
Yeah.
There's only a couple of things that even come close when I really get thinking about it. And I've seen this online, but people do compare it to Ghostwatch, which is a movie that I have many times.
I even said that on the preview when we previewed, and it reminded me a lot of that.
Many times I've told people, if you listen to the show, you would have heard me telling you to see Ghostwatch. If you haven't seen Ghostwatch, I think it's on Shudder right now. Go see Ghostwatch. It's important.
Yes, and I even told you I watched that just a while back ago.
Such a good movie. It's just so good. So it has Ghostwatch energy, which I like.
Right.
And maybe I'll just tell you this. My biggest probably issue with it is that I thought we were going to go the Blair Witch route, which is to say they're presenting you the film as the broadcast happened,
Right.
And this was real. They're telling you this was real. The
Right.
whole fun of it, the whole gag of it
Yeah.
is this happened, this was real. So you're only going to see the broadcast stuff.
Right.
I didn't realize it was presented as a documentary.
Injury. Yep.
And I get that. I get that. But then if it is a documentary, I cannot explain the final scenes of the movie. I did not dislike them, though. I think they were heavy-handed, a little too heavy-handed. I think you could have clued us on these things. And by the way, obviously, we're going to be spoiling these things. But go ahead. I've been talking over you this whole time.
No, it's fine. Go for it. I feel the same way. There were some little things, but it wasn't anything that really took me out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I just, like you said, there was a couple little instances, and we'll like I said, we'll talk spoiler wise anyway. That I probably would have made a different choice, but I can see why they made the choices that they did.
Yes. Yes. It's a unique movie. I mean, you got to give him that. It's unique. And I think his energy, how do you say his last name? David Dastmalchian?
Dastmalchian, yeah.
His energy is...
He is so personable. I would love to get him somehow on our show.
He's so unique.
He's an Illinois guy.
I knew that. I saw him on... Yeah, I saw him on Svengoolie.
We need to talk to him. He also has comic books, so he's right in our wheelhouse.
Yeah. Somebody call him. If you know David, call him, please. I'm a fan. I really like him, and it's cool because he's been on a hot streak, even just this in the last couple of years. Right. But I mean, I've seen him in all kinds of like, what was I watching? He was
he was in the first Dune.
Yeah, of course. Rest in peace. Spoilers to the first Dune.
Right. I think it's okay to not say.
He plays Piter, right? Yeah.
He was in The Boogeyman.
The Boogeyman. Yeah, he's the first guy that comes to the house. Okay,
right. Yeah. I liked his. I mean, as short as it was, which I rewatched that too recently.
I could see him just being. This is the thing, though. He could be cast as only those types of guys forever. But I think
this like excelled him.
I think so too. But what I like about his performance in this is that I don't think it's not what you'd expect. He's like, I don't know. There's a depth to the character that I'm having a hard time even articulating. But like, he's not just. Look at me. I'm a host of a TV.
Multi-dimensional character.
Yes, there's way more to him.
And there's certain things that you don't even find out until later.
Yeah, I think his performance is excellent in the movie. So I'm going to praise him, and particularly to the young girl. I thought she was also excellent. And I did like
Lily.
Yes, she was great. Yeah. And I did also quite like the skeptic guy. He was such a hateable asshole.
Carmichael.
He was great.
Yeah,
he was great. So if that's general thoughts, we can get into the plot.
My favorite character was Gus, though.
The sidekick?
Yes.
Yes.
And just that, some of the things, like even at the beginning where he comes up behind him and scares him with the, it had that whole aesthetic of the, like a 70s Dick Cavett, like pre-Johnny Carson.
His energy is, different. His Gus is the character's name?
Yeah, Gus.
His energy was different. I thought it was strange, and I didn't quite get his. I don't know. I'm not saying it wasn't good. It was good, but I felt like his energy was strange. I think maybe when you're looking at him up against David,
right?
What's his name? Jack.
Yeah.
So the main guy is Jack Delroy, right? That's who David plays.
Yep.
So I thought Gus and Jack had a strange dynamic that I didn't fully.
It's almost like, and I, because of like later on's happenings, he is the sidekick that has no clue what the real story is going on.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like, he's the sidekick in front of the camera, but not really his real life sidekick. So it plays that weird kind of dynamic.
And maybe the thing was
that
maybe there was more going on than I was just like, I was just ready for him to be a goof and that was it.
Yeah.
But there is more to the character than that. And I agree that maybe that's what tripped me up.
Yeah.
No, I agree though. He was good.
Yeah.
As Bones pointed out, that guy should have been Paul F. Tompkins. It's a tragedy that it wasn't Paul F. Tompkins. I'm a big Paul F. Tompkins fan.
Yeah.
That just would have been amazing. But whatever. I mean, the guy did a great job.
Yeah.
So I don't want to take that away from him. So okay, let's get into the plot.
Okay.
And obviously, we're spoiling everything.
Yes.
And this plot is from Wikipedia. The film is presented as a documentary investigating an unexplained event that occurred on 31 October 1977 during a live broadcast of the sixth season. During live broadcast of the sixth season episode. Why does it said that? It's season
weird,
6 of this show, and the show is called Night Owls with Jack Delroy.
Right.
A successful variety late night talk show that competes in ratings with the Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson. I really like the fact that they are putting you in the real world. They're name dropping Carson.
Right.
You are seeing those numbers, and you're seeing other real shows on the list.
Right.
For me, that was awesome. You know, Carson's a little bit before my time, but I've seen a ton of Carson reruns. I know the reference points.
See, I was Carson's always been around. Catch the end.
Yeah.
Ending of Carson on late night. So,
but I've absolutely seen enough Carson
and
to know that this is pretty authentic to that time.
I mean, and it also kind of reminded me of another late night talk show. I don't know if you would know Phil Donahue.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah.
So I mean,
not as familiar, but yeah,
no, not as
yeah, that's a big one. Yeah,
but they kind of offshoot. He'll go and they have people in the audience, and sometimes he'll run up to people in the audience, and they'll have these weird kind of guests on there.
Do you have a favorite late night guy, like of all time?
Craig Ferguson.
That's mine too. Yes.
God, I wish I would be in town when he is in St. Louis for his comedy tour.
I think Craig Ferguson is my favorite. And I don't know. I remember once telling a friend that and him going like, there's a lot better things to watch on TV than Craig Ferguson at that time.
What are you thinking?
It's a great day for America, everybody.
Yeah.
We watched a ton of Craig Ferguson. I miss him dearly. So yes, I'm so glad
he does have a podcast.
I haven't listened. I just became aware of it recently.
Yeah,
I like Craig a lot. So, but I also love Jeffrey Peterson.
Yes.
Also, balls. So anyway, through his television connections, Night Owls host Jack Delroy makes regular visits to California's Bohemian Grove, an elite camp for rich and powerful men. And is that a real thing? I don't know about that.
Which is an alleged real.
Is it? It's okay. It's an alleged real thing. Okay.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yes.
I meant to look that up before, but I wasn't sure. I'm familiar with the concept of things
it's
like this.
The Tom Hanks and those kind of guys go into there. So all those kind of conspiracy.
Sure. Yeah. So I'm familiar with this sort of idea of these kinds of clubs and whatever, but I didn't know if that was a real one or not. So even cooler that it could be possibly a real thing. So that's cool. Sometime later, his wife Madeline contracts lung cancer despite being a non-smoker and passes away, her death having a major effect on Jack as Night Owls halts its production. Jack ultimately returns, but the show does not attain the same level of success. In order to recover his rating, Jack decides to do a special occultism-themed episode on Halloween night at the show's Manhattan studio. The rest of the film is salvaged footage from the episode. Did I read? I thought I read in the credits. Did I read that it was Michael Ironside doing the voiceover?
I am not sure.
Am I totally?
Yes, it is
Michael Ironside.
Yep.
How cool!
I had the cast list just in case we needed it. So yeah, it's Michael Ironside does the
it sucks
narration.
I didn't notice it while he was talking, but I did think it's kind of familiar. But yeah, cool that he was involved at all. You get a good voice like that.
No doubt.
So special guests for the show's episode include psychic Christou, a skeptical former magician Carmichael the Conjurer, and a parapsychologist author June Ross Mitchell.
Yes.
All these names they seem so
70s.
genuine and 70s to me. Yes, June Ross Mitchell.
Right.
I don't know what it is. And like Christou.
The amazing
all that
Carmichael.
Stuff. Yes. Yeah. And June's subject, Lily Diabo.
Yeah.
And musician Cleo James, who we never get to see, right? Or only briefly.
Briefly, yeah.
During the broadcast, Christou is revealed to do cold readings until he suddenly experiences a real premonition about someone named Minnie and is left shaken. During the commercial breaks, Night Owl's producer, Leo Fisk, stresses Jack over the show's sudden success. So I thought Christou, the guy playing Christou, was really good for that part.
Right.
He immediately comes off as like, this guy's a fraud. Like he's just whatever. But then,
then
I
all
think
of a sudden you have that.
He did sell me on the real reading.
I'm trying to think of the other movie. There's another movie that's kind of like that, where the person is, supposedly is pretty much a fraud, and then they actually have a real, like,
I've seen
some kind of seance. I mean, I know that's kind of something
like
that's happened several times, but
the one where they're like ghosts and hunters, and then all of a sudden they get sent to a place.
Yeah.
I've seen them.
We're thinking of the same movie.
I've seen the movie. I think it might be a British movie.
Yeah.
I've seen the movie. I forget what it's called, but I remember liking it. I always hover over it and go, "Oh, what's this?" And I go, "Oh yeah, I've already seen this."
Right.
It's like a one-word title. I think it's like on Netflix now.
Yeah.
If that narrows it down. But there's also that other one. Have you seen? Is it called Red Lights? Have you seen that?
I haven't seen that one.
Let me quickly Google this because I think this is a movie that people might be actually interested in.
Right.
It's got Cillian Murphy and Robert De Niro and Sigourney Weaver and Elizabeth Olsen, and Toby Jones.
Early 2000s?
No, it's 2012.
Really?
It's a cool little movie. I definitely recommend that to people who are into these kinds of things. It's got a great cast. It's an interesting story. I don't think it's like the best movie ever made.
What streaming service is it on?
Looks like right now it's on Peacock actually.
Oh, okay.
And it's free on Tubi, which is the best streaming service of all time ever, apart from Shudder. A parascientist.
I have Peacock anyway.
Yeah, a parascientist specialized in debunking those claiming to possess psychic powers. When Tom decides to reopen the case of notorious blind psychic Simon Silver, Margaret cautions him against the idea. That's the plot.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just this little movie that yeah, I don't know. I liked it though. I need to rewatch it. I haven't seen it over 10 years.
Yeah.
It's been a while. So, but I could definitely recommend that movie.
Okay.
Something to do with
this.
I
will put it on my list.
Yeah, check it out.
So,
all right. Anyway, Late Night with the Devil. Jack brings out Carmichael, who insists that Christou is a phony, but Jack supports him after pointing out that Minnie was the nickname he gave Madeline, his passed away wife. I like the delivery of all that. I like that he wasn't immediately like, "Oh, hold on, wait." Right. I like the reveal of that, and I liked Des Malchian's performance and like the way he delivers these.
Right.
It's just an interesting performance. Like I don't think it's going to like win an award, but for me, like these kinds of movies, when I think of what that character is in my mind, the performance you see on the screen is not what I would have expected.
Yeah.
And I like that. That adds flavor to this movie and it makes it unique in a way that I like. As Christou argues with Carmichael, he becomes sick, projectile vomits a black liquid, and is taken to the hospital during another commercial break. In an interview with June and Lily, the latter being the survivor of a satanic church's mass suicide,
right,
Carmichael is in disbelief over June's claims that Lily is connected to a demon that she dubs Mr. Wriggles. Jack convinces June to conjure the demon before learning that Christou has died en route to the hospital. Interesting that is not ever revealed to the audience of the show.
Right.
And that's where I start to bump into the issue a little bit of like, well, we would never have known that if we weren't seeing. It was
found footage. Yeah. Right.
If we weren't seeing that other stuff, if we were just seeing the broadcast.
Right.
And so I question, like, well, does that make it better or worse? Because on one hand, maybe there would have been a way that they could have worked that into the show. Said something, I don't know.
The thing I think kind of could have made it a little bit different is when they're talking about it, when they're not on stage, when they're talking behind the scenes with that, to give it a non-70s kind of filter to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To have it a little more crisp, a little more 4K,
Mm-hmm.
because then you know it's outside of the realm of what you're seeing.
Yeah, but I like that it did switch. Did you notice the aspect ratio kept changing
Yeah. No,
because
I
of the
did. I
different
get
types
that.
of footage? Yeah.
Right.
And it seems that they tried to be faithful to what it maybe likely would have been.
Right.
But
Right.
yeah, there's something going on there for sure.
I just
Uh,
think some visually kind of like that. Kind of, I mean, into associating with something more like, you know how Oppenheimer, when things were in
it
black
was the
and
black and
white,
white.
was the
Yeah.
actual footage,
Mhm.
recreated, but when it was in color, you knew that this was kind of the, you know, dramatization or
Right.
behind the scenes.
Right.
If they could have done something, like I said, not necessarily do the black and white and color thing, but like a crisper image, like you're actually standing there compared to watching it on a TV in 77.
Right. Absolutely.
I think that could have maybe
But
made that.
that's again, that's the choice of this is a documentary and
Right,
there's
right,
extra
right.
footage
Yeah,
versus, oh, you're just seeing the broadcast. And the
right.
other problem being, if it's just the broadcast, then you're only 60 minutes,
Yeah,
plus commercials.
right.
So I get that. Maybe it could have been like a 2-hour special, like a Geraldo type thing.
Right, right.
Like that's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was thinking it was going to be,
The
in
Jimmy
some ways.
Hoffa's grave thing going on.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, anyway, I still like the movie for what it is. Don't get me
Oh,
wrong.
I
This is
liked it a
just
lot. I mean,
it's an interesting problem to tackle. It's like the way you do this movie. And whatever. They did a good job. Anyway.
yeah.
Um, during the seance, Lily transforms into Mr. Wriggles, causes the electricity to go haywire, and levitates in her chair. I thought that was excellent.
I love the fact that they use the practical effects and then the like CGI kind of effects looked like something from the 70s.
The only thing that didn't work for me was the chair lowering. It looked kind of shitty. But like then when you see like the electricity effects, like
That's what I'm yeah.
it did look 70s to me,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's
which
like
I totally agree.
you
I thought it
almost want to
added.
question is like, okay, did it really or was this all
Yeah.
production,
Yeah. I agree. I thought it was cool though.
I thought it was a great way to do that.
Her
So,
performance, and I love the choice. I think it's beautiful of having Lily staring down the barrel of the camera.
yeah.
And then they're like, you don't have to look at the camera. And she's still kind of just staring at the camera.
Yeah.
I love that it adds to the creep factor, but it also shows you that she doesn't know. It's to the character as well. I just think
Yeah.
it's really neat. I love that. It's a great
I
little,
I
great little
I
touch.
I would enjoy seeing her doing some more stuff because I mean, the role in this, she knocked it out of the park.
Why isn't there a Mr. Wriggles sequel in the works right now? Why
Don't
not
know.
a full on regular movie with the
Like before the show, what
between
happened
Ross
to her?
or like right afterwards or whatever? Because
Right,
who knows? They could make it whatever they
right.
want. Anyway, but yeah, maybe a prequel. Yeah, either way. Uh, let's see. Carmichael challenges June by having Jack's sidekick Gus McConnell take part in a hypnotism demonstration that causes everyone in the studio to see worms coming out of Gus, including Gus himself. It was a great little scene, great
Yeah,
moment. While rewinding the tape in the production room, Leo learns that Lily indeed performed the things that happened.
right.
That scene was cool. I like that they have
Yeah,
that playback. You think they're going to cut away to the next thing, and it's like, no, hang on. If we're going to watch that footage, let's go back a little further.
right.
Um, Jack is shocked to see Madeline in a single frame of the footage. That frame was the scariest thing in the movie to me.
Right.
When she's
That
behind him
little
with her hand on his shoulder,
right.
there's something about the way she looks and the way they posed her and her whole thing and her mouth was open and it was like it
Right.
was like it reminded me of old art,
Yeah.
like images of
Like
hell or something like
Renaissance art, images
Renaissance
of hell. Yeah.
Renaissance hell. There was something to that, and I'm sure that was intentional, but I thought that was like a brilliant frame of the movie. I was like, whoa, like
Right.
that was cool. That was probably for me the scariest moment
It
of the
was
whole
a
movie.
very Dante's Inferno-esque painting,
I
for
like
the
that.
painting,
Yes, I
kind
thought
of
that was great.
imagery. Yeah.
Very good. Let's see. Carmichael accuses the production of setting everything up from the beginning. Lily transforms again and kills June, Gus, and Carmichael. The audience flees from the studio and Jack runs to the exit. Right. I wouldn't say that he runs. I mean, he gets there and he waits a while. All that stuff works for me pretty much. Where we're going now is what I don't understand. This last bit, not that I disliked it, but I think, number one, it might be a little heavy-handed. Like, I think you could have put these clues into the script and made this part of the broadcast, or even that extra footage. Oh, we've gone off the air. Now you see that this is happening and they can have a conversation. Whatever that thing might be. Jack is suddenly transported to a nightmarish vision of the show. He relives moments in the past before it is revealed that he is connected to Lily's satanic church and was indirectly responsible for Madeline contracting cancer. The price for his Night Owl's fame. Excuse me. Oh. I'm sorry. All that stuff was obvious to me. I didn't think we needed this huge reveal thing where you could have just maybe hinted at it once more. There could have been some other character that reveals something. I don't know. I thought for sure that the skeleton character in the audience was going to be revealed to be something. Yeah. Right. They were going to come out at the end and say, "Oh, but isn't this what you wanted?" You know, all that, that. I thought there was going to be something
involved with that group. Yeah.
But that did not happen. And instead what we get is these visions that I don't know why they would be. How could they have been filmed? They're in his mind, right?
Right. But I think it's just one of those. I don't think it was filmed. I think you have to almost kind of mentally separate some of that stuff, and that's why
that's what they want.
I said, that's why I wish they would have changed the aspect of the filters, you know, to make it a little more crisp 4K.
Well, I wonder if it would have been jarring. I wonder if they tried it that way and it was like, it's jarring. Maybe so.
That could, I mean, that's a possibility, but I think that would have made a definite cut between the film and what happened. You know what I'm saying?
Or what's in his mind, or whatever.
Or what's in his mind.
Absolutely. Madeline's spirit confronts Jack and he stabs a dagger into her body. Everything shifts back to a now empty studio with a horrified Jack revealed to have stabbed Lily. Jack stands over the bodies of his guests as police sirens slowly get louder in the distance. There's some iconic things in this little section. I will agree, like the spinning, the twirling spiral thing.
Right.
I think him, that look when he turns and he's there's two of him.
Right.
That's really cool. I think it's a great looking movie. I think we've talked before, even just about the trailer. The sound was like really cool, really well made, and like feels pretty authentic. My only issue is these last 15 minutes of the movie. I just don't. I thought there could have been a better way to handle it, but again, I don't want to drive people from the movie. I think you should watch it.
Absolutely,
it's a cool movie. And I want this type of movie to continue to be made and flourish.
Well, and like I said, I think that's the only thing with that last 15 minutes. You really needed something to kind of almost separate what was the old episode and what was either in his mind or going on reality off camera. There need to been some kind of definite separation of it,
right? Because then it does cut back to reality, and it's in the same. So I agree. It could be confusing.
I think that would have probably clarified the little bit of apprehension with the way that turned out.
And maybe it's a budgetary thing. Who knows?
Yeah, absolutely.
And they didn't have a lot of money for this. I'm
sure. No, it was, and I'm pretty sure they've made back at this point.
I
saw something about. And I think this was hilarious. That over the weekend, it made
I saw this
$666,000 and $666,666.
Yes, two sets of 3 6s.
Yeah,
that's really fun. I don't know, who knows if that's real, but how funny is that? Maybe they're a couple dollars short, but we'll just add that in there.
Right,
that's good marketing.
Yes.
So yeah, no, again, I think just in closing on Late Night with the Devil, I would recommend people check it out.
Absolutely.
It's a cool movie.
And if you can get it, it will be on Shudder in less than a month.
A couple weeks.
I think the 19th. But if you can see this in a theater, please go see this in a theater. Because, like you said, the part of Lily staring into the camera on that large screen was, I mean,
so awesome.
I'm not a person that gets unnerved very often, but just having that whole look of her,
yes,
basically looking at your soul.
It feels like it. I totally agree.
Yeah.
And another thing I really liked was I got the impression from the trailer that there would be more with her transformation, because you see that one frame and the jaw is crazy and stuff. But that you don't really see that too much in the movie. It's just that one moment.
It wasn't.
I feel like, and I could be wrong, but I feel like you see less of it in the actual movie. Like, I think they showed more of that in the trailer than the real movie. I could be wrong.
That's very possible.
But I love that the way they nailed that whole thing with her look, and then you just mainly see the eye.
Yeah.
And there is makeup. You could tell they've made her up, but like they don't even need that. She just has this transformation. They nail the voice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love it.
Such a good actress.
That was great.
And if I'm not mistaken, this was actually pitched to David Dastmalchian by like a couple of just Australian independent filmmakers.
I did read that it was filmed in Australia, produced and made in Australia. Cool. I mean, all you need is a studio and some people in that studio.
You know, so and you know, there's a lot of actors now that are starting to do their own production companies. You know, David's got his now, and he's also, like I said, he's got his own comic book.
Keep delivering the goods.
That he's doing.
Keep going to the theater.
Sydney Sweeney actually is another one. That last movie that's the romantic comedy she was just in with Glenn Powell. That was her production company. She made that. So.
And put them in the theater.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, I love streaming. I'm a huge streamer, but guys, if we can get these things into theaters, I would really rather see it in the theater, at least the first time.
You know, Terrifier. Look at that movie.
Did I tell you I watched Thanksgiving?
No, you didn't tell me you finally watched it.
Just real quick. That's what I was trying to remember earlier.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I felt like, and this might upset some horror fans, I felt like Thanksgiving was the same mean slasher vibes as Terrifier. I felt like it shares a lot of DNA, but I felt like Thanksgiving is like, in terms of craft, like made better in every way.
I mean, it very well possibly could, because I think that did have a larger budget and a little bit bigger crew.
Sure. Oh, I mean, yeah, but I think that maybe is saying more about Terrifier than anything else, which is maybe what you're saying.
Yeah.
If Terrifier 2 can look as pretty decent as it looks, and make what it makes with no help and team, and it's mainly
half of it. Damien Leone was the one that did most of all that, those, you know, practical effects and everything.
So to me, it was like, oh, this Terrifier again, while it's not my favorite movie or series, I do enjoy Terrifier 2 a little bit more. Whatever, they're fine. I'm not into, like, my favorite thing isn't like a mean slasher. Like I mean, I will like them. I just watched The Prowler recently. I like those. They're good. But I was just really, it made me more impressed with. It's funny that I enjoyed Thanksgiving, but like it made me more impressed with Terrifier. Anyway. We have got to talk about X-Men, unless you have anything more to say about it.
The only thing I was going to say is this kind of movie is like almost in my wheelhouse. That psychological, you know, keep you guessing.
For sure.
Kind of, you know, and then throw in the you know, like the period kind of piece of it.
It works for me every time.
It worked for me. So, I mean,
if they can nail the look and the sound, I'm into it. That definitely. I am very fond of the 70s, 80s look.
Let's get him like returning for an 80s comeback, and like that
would be awesome.
In another version, you know, kind of something else that goes.
He comes out of retirement and he wants to. That would be like 10 years later.
Right.
There you go. There's the sequel. That would be amazing. Absolutely.
Or where he's a little bit older and it's, his last show of January 19 or December 31st, 1999.
Yeah.
Do a Y2K version of this.
Yes. Or I was just
So,
thinking you could do like him being interviewed on like 60 Minutes or something, and then something crazy. Oh, well, we've brought on the little girl who you scarred in the, maybe she isn't killed, and maybe,
or have a 60-minute-esque kind of,
right,
that follows, does like what was it? Unsolved Mysteries.
something like that could work. Yes. But I was thinking like they'll confront the two, and then it'll make something crazy
some
happen.
kind of, some kind of amalgamation of 60 Minutes and Unsolved
Sure.
Mysteries.
There's plenty they could do. This could become a franchise, and I'm here for it.
Right. But anyway, let's get to, like I said, definitely favorable. Go see it. Go see it in the theater, please.
Yes, I agree. I have to send Bones a rude message right now.
Okay.
There you go. He'll know if he listens to this.
And also, if David Desmulchin ever listens to our podcast, we'd love to have you on.
Yeah, buddy. Get in here.
Make that happen, people.
Yes. Okay. If you know him, tell him.
Yeah.
Let's talk X-Men 97.
Okay.
We will be now. We will be able to talk about the first 3 episodes.
Yes.
We will go through the plot.
Yes.
And we will be doing lots of spoilers. So if you haven't seen it and if you're not sure,
yes,
let's give our brief thoughts, and then if people want to turn off, they can to go watch it. But
right.
Just what are your overall thoughts so far on the first 3 episodes, without any spoilers?
Without any spoilers. Especially the first 2 episodes, I was fine with. There's something I can't put my finger on it. I'm not a huge. This almost it's hard to explain. The animation, for some reason, for me, is kind of weird. I mean, I was around, obviously, in the original.
Sure, me too.
And then saw. It's almost like they've tried to take this somewhere between modern Japanese anime, but make it look like the 90s animation.
Well, have you seen the
and then there's something weird, and there was something really weird about their mouths, because I went back and I know it's a little thing, but just when they're speaking, their mouths look like, I don't know.
Well, did you see the way that they're actually doing it?
I haven't seen any behind the scenes.
It's actually 3D.
Okay.
I did not know this, but apparently
I did not know that either.
Apparently it's drawn over 3D. I had no idea.
I had no idea either.
I guess maybe that's the most cost-effective way to do something like this. I don't know, but I didn't mean to cut off your.
No.
If you have more to say, go ahead.
No, I mean that's just kind of it. It was the first 2 were fine. I'll be honest, the third one, because I am a huge X-Men fan, I've got all sorts of, I have, a couple of 50-gallon totes full of X-Men comics.
Yep.
So
I got a few of those myself.
I wasn't a huge fan of the 3rd episode. When we get to that, I'll talk about that then.
But would you say the reasoning is because you're so familiar with the source material and you probably wanted to see it happen in a certain way, and you didn't get that?
Majority of my dislike of it, yes.
Right. Okay. I too.
And honestly, even the first 2, I was just saying, even the first 2 episodes, there's a couple of things that they did that I was like, there was no need for that, and that honestly isn't even a 90s storyline. So, but anyway.
Well, my initial thoughts are that I obviously was a fan of the original and watched the original and had the Pizza Hut tapes, and we've talked about all that. Love that show. And I would say that I, halfway through the first episode, said out loud, "This is fucking awesome."
See, I was in my 20s when the first came out, so you were into it as a kid more than I was a child.
Yes,
because I was not a huge. I liked it, but I was never a huge fan of the animated series.
So for me, the animated series was like a precious classic thing, like particularly that animated series. So, and it's funny though, because I didn't really think that I would care that much. I was like, because I knew we'd watch it for this and talk about it.
Right.
But I remember, if I was being truthful with myself, I remember just sort of going, I'll watch it, but I don't think it's going to make me feel anything. I'm not that hyped about it. I mean, it looks fun. It'll be something to talk about. I thought it looked cool, but I didn't think it would make me feel anything.
Yeah.
And I have to disagree with myself. I felt a lot. I really liked it.
Yeah.
So, we'll get into the details, but just my overall
right.
thoughts are thumbs up, 2 thumbs up. I really like it, and I didn't expect to.
I must still wait and see. The first 2 are
Sure.
fine. The third one, if it continues that way, then I'm probably not going to finish it.
Let me give you something here that I
Okay.
think is super important to remember.
Okay.
When is the last time, outside of the comics, and then even including the comics, when is the last time that we got these classic ass X-Men in these classic ass outfits doing actual X-Men shit? When was that?
I mean,
Come on. Even seeing it get close, Chris, even seeing it get close to like the full on actual, in my opinion, X-Men. This is it. This is it. The movies even kind of stray in some ways. You don't see those outfits. You don't. It's the relationships aren't the same. The characters aren't the same.
I haven't been head over heels on any of the. I mean, I liked. I know there's controversy with him as the director, but I mean, I like the Bryan Singer X-Men.
Oh no, the first movie.
Class. Yeah. And First Class, honestly, I really liked.
Apart from Banshee, a great movie.
Yes.
I hate Banshee so much.
I know. He's so not the character.
I hate him. But no, come on, Kevin Bacon in that suit, sign me up.
Yeah. But I mean, no, and you're right. For them to be in that, to actually be in the classic costumes doing X-Men stuff, no, it hasn't been.
For me, that goes so long. It goes such a long way. And I don't think it's just a nostalgia thing for me. I think it's actually working. I think the story is interesting to me. I like that they're dipping into some of these 80s storylines, like the trial of Magneto and all that stuff. And I thought it was I read through that just last week.
Yeah.
Because that was what the episode was. And I was like, oh, I know that's that comic line. Let me read this. And I read that issue. It was pretty close.
There was a few little throwaway lines I rolled my eyes at in those,
But anyway, wait, but let's not do any more spoilers yet.
No.
Just in case. Now
I wasn't going to go any. I just.
Okay.
Like I said, the first 2 I was fine with, but there were some things that like I said, I rolled my eyes.
That's fair.
At. But
one more thing, just in general, I am surprised at how close it gets to being adult.
And they're gonna say, and there's people gonna say, oh, this was, it doesn't matter if you like it, this was made for kids. There's some things in this that is not per se made for younger.
There's some things that
they won't necessarily understand.
I agree.
But
it's not inappropriate, but it is definitely not something that a kid is going to understand in a way that an adult would.
So
some of that stuff.
So these jackweeds and saying, oh, well, it doesn't matter if you don't like it or if you have a problem with something because it's made for kids. Well, that's not true.
I definitely feel like
they tried to ride the line of both.
I think it's for people like me and you who liked it back then. So, anyway, let's get into spoilers. Let's start with this first episode and go through it. 1 year after Professor Charles Xavier left Earth with the Shi'ar, the X-Men continue their mission to defend mutants and humans alike and go on to become legally sanctioned by the United Nations, which I love. But that is some real X-Men shit.
But see, the thing is it technically wasn't, because at that time, and I have like the entire series across all the titles, that was the whole Mutant Registration Act.
Yeah.
Because they even talked about Genosha.
Yeah. It came up.
It wasn't that they were, quote unquote, sanctioned by UN. They were trying to register them and put them all on an island as with tattoos across their forehead. And
Yep.
so,
but anyway, that kind of legal, world government thing is, to me, very X-Men related.
right.
Additionally, Jean Grey has become pregnant while support for mutants has grown. After X-Men save a young mutant named Roberto da Costa from Friends of Humanity, Jean sees that they were outfitted with Sentinel tech and probes Henry Peter Garrick. Is it Garrick?
Garrick.
Yeah. Mind for the location of the Sentinel's creator, Trask.
Bolivar Trask.
I have to tell you that when they uncovered that thing and it was the Sentinel hand, and they were using it in the fight, I was like, God, that to me is cool writing.
My only problem is the dialogue with that. Those morons would have never come up with making that kind of tech out of the Sentinels.
And some of the
Trask
dialogue
was already, in prison.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the dialogue is like,
that happened in like season 1?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, near the end, before because Trask is the one that shoots Xavier.
Right. But anyway, I thought it was cool that was there. Jean C, that we already did that. Despite succeeding, she receives a horrifying premonition while doing so. The team later find Trask at a junkyard in the Sahara, where he is rebuilding the Sentinels with the aid of a lobotomized master mold. Again, that's some cool ass X-Men shit. It just is.
I did kind of like almost enjoy the zombified sort of Sentinels.
Yes, they were like zombies.
But it was like some of the stuff, and this is where we got into, like, in the preview, when we talked about the preview.
Yes.
The whole Wolverine's claws being charged.
Yes.
That was completely unnecessary.
But we have to talk about that scene.
I know.
And how badass it was. And I'm saying it was badass.
I thought it would have been better badass if actually Colossus was there.
Yeah, I'm feeling
the fastball special.
I'm feeling him being gone for sure. Although we had a fastball special kind of in the 3rd episode.
Yeah.
Kind of. Not your original, but
no.
It was a similar. Yeah. Anyway, number 1 with a bullet for me. I'm talking with my hands a lot tonight, Chris. Number 1 with a bullet for me, easily, no question, Storm. And it even goes like, you get the voiceover that's like Omega level threat detected, and I'm like, fuck yes. And she's a goddess. It's amazing. I'm hyped about how cool Storm is.
There was no such thing as Omega level mutants at that time.
I'm rolling my eyes, Chris.
You can roll your eyes.
I'm rolling my eyes.
This is one of those little, me being such a big X-Men nerd, this was one of those things that took me out of it.
I can respect your complaint. I had similar complaints about Dune too. I respect this complaint. I do.
Yes. There was no such thing as an Omega level.
But to me, that made that scene so much cooler when you hear like, Omega level threat detected. And you're like, it's Storm and she's awesome.
And this was, and also one other thing is, this was the thing that also I didn't like even about the original, is Storm's dialogue compared to her dialogue in the comics.
I would say she's better spoken in the comics.
She's way better spoken and less bombastic. This just makes her. But see that that it takes away from her character, because part of Storm's big thing is how empathetic she is, but she knows.
Sure.
This seems like, oh, I am holier than thou, big and mightier than you.
I was into it.
And I didn't like it in the original, and I didn't like it in this one.
I said, yes, mommy. Please zap me.
The showing of her power, absolutely.
Badass.
But the dialogue was...
I also have to say the same about...
Was about like a junior high writing it.
Some of the dialogue is rough, I agree. And some of the voice acting is like... some of Wolverine's lines, I was like, God, dude... Can we take that one again?
That one in the plane.
The plane.
It was like,
I was like,
Wolverine would have never said anything like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I whatever.
And yet again, in the cartoon, I had that issue also.
And they are being, I will say that it's faithful to the original show. So
the horrible
it is what it
dialogue
is.
that's in the
Make a
original show.
you know, you can't, whatever. You got to make a decision. Are you going to be faithful, or are you going to, I mean,
Right.
whatever. They didn't have to keep it like that, but I agree. That is rough. But I also have to say, Cyclops was never my favorite mutant, but he's really cool in the show. Getting to see him do, again, this is the whole thing about the show, why I love it. You get to see the X-Men doing cool X-Men shit, and it's so pure. It's so purely X-Men. Him with the visor, and they're like, take his visor, and he's like, no, and then he goes, oh, never mind, call an ambulance, but not for me.
Yeah.
So awesome.
And I know this is stupid, but the whole sliding with the beam thing, was kind of ridiculous.
I loved it.
He's never done that in the comic books.
I want to see cool stuff like that happening, though, and it is happening. So, I give all this stuff a pass. It all gets a pass. I had a great time seeing the mutants be awesome. I just loved it.
And the thing is they relied him as, he is like almost on par with hand-to-hand combat as Wolverine.
Mm-hmm. He's supposed to be.
He's supposed to be. They didn't play that like that. And like I said, all my complaints for the most part in the first 2 episodes were because of the fact that I know the comics so well.
Yeah. And I know how hard it is. Chris, I know how hard it is to get over that. I really, really do. And I've read plenty of them, but I know for a fact you've read more than me, and you've had them for longer than me. Yeah. So it's more precious to you, those comics. I can't argue with it. I won't. But for me, this show is like a gift right now.
Well, and I'm saying this show was perfect for you because you were that kid.
Yep.
You were that 10, 11-ish age when this came out.
For sure.
I was in my 20s when this came out, and one of my first X-Men comics was Giant Size Annual 1. Yeah. So, I mean, if that's any indication of...
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I had to go get some back issues. I have, my oldest X-Men is X-Men number 2.
Oh, that's pretty old, Chris.
So...
That's cool.
So I've been a fan for a long time.
Yes. We have one more sentence, I think.
Sure.
After defeating the Sentinels and apprehending Trask, Cyclops and Jean ponder leaving the team to raise their son away from mutant hatred. Well, we all know what's going to happen there. The following day, Magneto reveals Xavier's will, in which Xavier gave him control of the Institute and entrusted him with leading the X-Men. Right. A cool reveal at the end of the episode,
right?
Because you don't really know where they're going to go with Magneto,
right?
So that's the first episode. It gets a thumbs up. The action scene, perfect. I thought the action was really well choreographed and looks good. I love the way it's drawn, or whatever, the animation, whatever you want to call it.
The only thing is, I don't like they did the outfit they put Magneto in. With his face, he looks like Big Mama from Darkseid. What's her name? Big Mama? I can't remember. You know who I'm talking about?
From Darkseid?
One of the Darkseid minions.
Oh, you were talking about DC.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Okay. I'm in the right place
with the white hair. And
I was thinking of the movie Tales from the
Dark
Side.
No.
I'm like, I don't remember that.
No.
Okay. Well, I know that's like, he has that essentially that outfit in the comics at one point, but I would not have chosen it.
That's a trial. Yeah, I would not have chosen it.
I like
it. And he never had the long hair during the trial of Magneto.
I like the way it looks, though. I just don't love the big M.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, that was an 80s.
Yeah.
I
think he would look cool if it was all black with that purple tint. That would be cool. But that M, but it does go along with the other outfits, I think, pretty well. So unfortunately, it matches, but it's not what I would have wanted to see. I agree with you on that too.
And just one last thing on this episode, it's really like conflating storylines.
Oh, for sure.
Because
it's a huge jumble.
Because with Scott and Jean married and her pregnant, and the trial of Magneto, we're nowhere near each other.
Right. They're just plucking these. But I like that the stories we're getting are older stories.
And I mean, I've said that for a long time that we should be getting, but I'd like to see more continuity.
Is there any pleasing you, Chris? Is there any pleasing you?
Unless I'm the showrunner, probably not. So, I doubt if any of them are going to give me a call, even if I was,
well, yeah,
film qualified.
But
especially
yeah,
nowadays.
I get it. Episode 2,
Yes.
Mutant Liberation begins. While trying to live up to Xavier's legacy, Magneto is taken to saving humans and mutants alike and refraining from killing anti-mutant militants. It's like a warm-up. Anti-mutant militants. Anti-mutant militants.
Is that some acting exercise?
Ron Burgundy saying that at the beginning. Distrustful of him, Cyclops and Jean stay to observe Magneto while Rogue sympathizes with his struggles. When UN forces led by Valerie Cooper arrive at the Institute to arrest Magneto for his past terrorism, he surrenders peacefully, hoping to gain the X-Men and humanity's trust. I like the helicopters being used as death devices. That's pretty cool. Let's see here. During this trial at the UN's headquarters, the FOH, and again, that's Friends of Humanity, stage an assault on the building. Their leader, Executioner, who I thought looked close.
He looked close, but timeline was way wrong.
Mm-hmm. Attempts to shoot a depowering radiation blast at Magneto, but Storm takes the hit for him.
Which, okay, now this is one of the things that I'm like, why did you have to change it? Because this is in the comics, and one of the characters that are involved in this is in the series.
Mm-hmm.
Rogue.
Yeah.
Because in the comics, it was Rogue that she saved.
Right, and they have a relationship and all that.
And they,
it would have made sense. But
I mean,
I think it's because we're sending Storm on a different, as we find out in episode 3.
But we did in the comics too. So
that's true. Look, okay. It's okay.
I mean, this was this whole mashing of storylines that made no sense, and you didn't have to.
Well, and maybe the way it all plays out, we'll see. Maybe it will have made sense. But right now, I don't really see a reason at this point why it couldn't have been. But
because I mean, all you would have done to change this episode slightly is Rogue was standing in front of Magneto. They were all standing in front of Magneto when this happened, and she goes up to, stop something else, and that's when he goes to hit her first to get her out of the way, and Storm sees it and jumps in front of her.
Yep.
That's all you had to do.
Yep.
Not that, she was saving Magneto.
Right.
But
again, I do like the trajectory that we've sent Storm on.
But you could have played that as Magneto having more guilt.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the fact that, they were all defending him and not just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. It would have added to Magneto's thing, but that's okay. I think it's all right. But I get that. I get your frustration with that because it's a change that
was unnecessary.
Probably didn't need to happen.
Right.
But again, I don't know what the intentions are with the ultimate goal of what, where the show's going to go. So maybe in the end, it will have made more sense. I don't know.
I doubt it.
Magneto stops the assault, after which the UN grants him a pardon and discuss the possibility of integrating the mutant nation Genosha. I like that he takes everyone up into the atmosphere and has his court up there. I thought that was pretty cool. While Executioner is just shitting himself.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. Meanwhile, Jean goes into labor and Rogue is forced to absorb the knowledge of how to deliver the baby, right?
Yeah.
That was funny. Jean gives birth to a son.
That's one word to use for it.
Yeah. Jean gives birth to a son whom she names Nathan, who we all know is not really known by that name. When Beast informs Storm that Executioner's blast depowered her permanently, she leaves the team to find a new meaning in life. While discussing her decision, the X-Men are surprised by the sudden arrival of a woman who looks identical to Jean. One thing about that description is they don't necessarily say that her powers are gone forever. He says it could be permanent. Right. We don't know. We've got to do more tests.
Yeah. And see, this is another part that deters from at the beginning of the next episode. But this with Storm is one, she never had the mohawk until after she left the X-Men.
Sure.
And she went to the Morlocks, not some random bar.
Well, look, maybe she's headed that way. Maybe she's headed that way.
Because...
Well, who she meets at the bar.
I was going to say, we'll deal with that with the next one. I mean, there's so many things you could have done that, I mean, you've got, 10 episodes?
It's 8 or 10, I think.
You could have played some of this story out a little longer.
Yeah.
And made it make more sense if you're trying to be a little more faithful.
But I still think that they're being quite faithful by at least using these old stories that are classic X-Men stories. I think you have to give it that.
Close only counts in horseshoes, hand grenades, and nuclear weapons, and I don't want any of those.
Okay. Horseshoes. Horseshoes is fine. That's okay. We should play horseshoes.
With a horse
no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go to episode 3.
Okay.
There was some good action in the second episode as well. Was the second episode the one where there's that one moment of Cyclops where he slams his hand on the desk and you see like he looks like really badass for 2 seconds and it's like visor flashes?
Yeah.
That was cool as hell. I want a GIF of that. Someone, if you're listening, please give me the GIF.
Right.
The gift of a GIF.
Now I will say this. The whole end of episode 2, which leads into the next episode.
Yeah.
Once again, that's not how any of that happened.
They have to make it fit.
Because of
the story they want to tell.
Yes. Okay, and in the battle at the courthouse, I didn't like the fact, and I had a problem with this also with the older cartoon, because in the older cartoon they had Psylocke in it for one episode, I think.
Yeah.
And she was the Quanon version of Psylocke. It should have been the regular Betsy Braddock version of Psylocke.
Right.
Because none of that even happened until well after.
Sure. Well, and speaking of characters like Psylocke,
episode 3 of this one.
Right. I see what you're saying. I agree. The timeline doesn't quite.
And then with the whole Apocalypse being in the original one, he should have never been that soon.
Right. That's true. They made that mistake back then.
Because Angel is not blue with metal wings at this point.
They made that mistake back then.
And
but I tell you what, I've liked the little nods to certain other characters, like when Morph is randomly choosing people to become. I do like the fact that they're not afraid to be like, oh, Morph turns into like Valkyrie now. You know what I'm saying? Like,
the thing
that's cool.
In the original one, he was never that strong and powerful.
Yeah, this is the more modern version of Morph. 100%. Even the character design is the more modern version of Morph. They've just integrated Morph.
Yeah, I know. Because they integrated the Age of Apocalypse version of Morph with the, generally no face thing going on. Yeah, I was never a huge fan of him, even in the original. He was a throwaway character that a small group was like, oh, Morph.
Yeah. For whatever reason, I was a huge Morph fan, and every time he dies, I was like, no, not my Morph. Anyway, let's move along.
Well, he was always kind of a creepy dude in the original one, and he's more of a skis in this one.
I don't think so.
The shower scene in the third one.
I thought it was playful.
That one, yeah.
Let's
not go there.
That's a public shower. Anyway.
Pedoverse, what?
It wasn't that. The X-Men take in... Oh, this episode's called Fire Made Flesh.
They were at the X-Mansion, not the YMCA.
Moving on. The X-Men take in the Jean lookalike, and Beast determines that she is the real Jean. Mr. Sinister contacts the other Jean and reveals her to be a clone. Sinister asserts his control of the clone Jean, and she transforms into the Goblin Queen, taking Nathan with her.
Okay.
I have to admit, I love this. I like that character design. I know. I'm trying to say mine first before your rant begins. I love the look. It's pretty close to the comic. It's pretty close. A little less cleavage because that's what you can get away with.
And
The whole bottom is open.
Also, yeah.
The whole bottom is open anyway, I like that. I love the look. I love the vibe of this episode. It's little goth me, right? Everything about it is like haunted house, creepy. Things are going weird at the X Mansion. There are strange visions and things happening. I like it a lot. I know it bastardizes one of your favorite storylines, and I'm sorry.
Yes.
But I think it works really well as an episode of this show. And I like Sinister. I like the way Sinister looks. I like the voice they have for Sinister. I like everything about all that. Sinister's castle looks amazing. Is it a castle? Whatever. It's an old mansion. I love all that. It looks like Scooby-Doo. The colors, everything about this episode really worked for me. So now you can say the opposite.
Okay. Two things. I will say that I thought they got as close to, with this supposedly being for kids version of her costume.
Yes, I think so.
I still don't think it was, and I liked the design of Sinister except for the shark teeth.
I like that choice.
I didn't like that choice at all. He's never been that way. He's always like that cold, calculating, scientific, just,
I agree. He's less of a
he doesn't look like a mouth of critters.
He kind of does. We just watched Critters this weekend. We really did.
So you know what I'm talking about.
Zora has never seen it. She's seen it now.
Okay. Story-wise, this would have been in the Inferno storyline.
Which is a great one.
Which is a phenomenal one. And MCU, get your thumb out of your ass. Get this movie made in a horror version and get as close to freaking R as you could in it. Secondly, Mr. Sinister is not the person that transforms her into the Goblin Queen. She is not in limbo because of Mr. Sinister.
Right.
She is created because of Sinister, but this is from Belasco, which is Illyana's world in limbo.
Right, exactly.
And the fact that they never used Illyana except for morphine her.
Yeah, interestingly.
Was
just to make you mad.
Was a fucking travesty.
Yeah, I get it.
Just a shit version of Darkchild too, on top of it. This storyline of Inferno is so dark and so twisted. There is panels where the demon are coming to Earth and transforming New York into limbo version of hell.
Yep.
There is one panel literally that there's nuns jumping into a blender to extract the milk of human kindness.
That's 2024. Let's do it.
To have this, and there's so much more twisted stuff that happens to make Madeline Pryor the Goblin Queen.
Yes, that's true.
That and also, you should have used at least to a toned down degree. I mean, her visions, like there's a whole couple of scenes that you could have played this. There's visions of her, like she's in the desert and she sees this like almost mannequin-esque version of her, and it starts to pull off like her hair. Yep. And her eyes and her lips and saying, "You never deserved this. Right. You weren't really Jean." And then at one point, Belasco comes to her right after all that happens, where Madeline is the almost mannequin with no features.
Right.
And melts her to look like herself again. And then, there's more of a longer spiral.
Right. Hard to do that in 30 minutes.
I get that.
Yeah.
But you combined a couple different stories.
It could have been 2 episodes.
In this.
Yeah, it should have been.
Which it should have been, because also Sinister did not give him. Oh, wait, I'll let you finish.
No, say it.
But Sinister did not give freaking Cable the technovirus.
Right.
And it was because of Jean and Scott having to go into the future because they knew what was going to happen because of Sinister.
Yeah.
Where he contracted the technovirus.
I got a technovirus every once in a while.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It should have been a 2-episode thing, I think, because number one, I do like that storyline, and I think it would have been cool to see more of that in detail.
And to not have, and honestly, to not have Illyana, actual Illyana, in an Inferno storyline,
it's really confusing to me.
was
yeah, I agree.
Was fucking criminal.
She is, yeah, she should be there, and she technically was, but I guess technically not. I don't know, but no. I understand. I understand your frustration on this one. So, we could have let it breathe more. But I will also say that some of the stuff in this, and we have more to read, but right. Some of the stuff in this episode got pretty dark, though. Some of the parent stuff, and I thought that stuff was pretty.
The scene adult. With Rogue and Magneto, like I said, that was they like pulled in. Where the hell did Savage Land come from? You know, it's like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
And have
a lot of times, I
there
think
there was no reference anytime.
And it seems it's funny though, because it seems like they're making all kinds of references, like just to make them like in one of the earlier episodes, they're like, oh, this is like Asteroid M, all this stuff is like, that's a deep cut. I don't know. I agree. Some of this, I don't know. By the way, this reminds me.
Okay.
I really quickly want to go back to the first episode.
Okay.
I loved the animation, and I loved, and I don't know what it was about this, but Jubilee's dance at the club, legitimately, that made me so happy.
That reminded me actually of X-Men Evolution. Do you remember Rogue and Jubilee or Rogue and Kitty? There was like a school dance or something like that.
So cool.
That reminded him of them taking that.
But that felt authentic to Jubilee, and her moves were. And I'm almost just talking about the animation, although I did like that moment. I thought that moment was really nice.
That's what I'm talking about. The animation. Go back and watch that episode of X-Men Evolution.
Yeah.
And the way she was dancing was almost identical to.
I really liked how much detail there was to the dance, and I noticed a couple moments in the show that have been like that. Like, for example, they're video calling. Who was it from the first episode? They're video calling someone. Was it Valerie Cooper? I don't know who they're video calling. They're video calling someone, and she's on a treadmill.
Yes. That's who it was.
And you don't just see her on the treadmill in one animation.
Right.
You see her running fast. You see her slow down. You see her reach out, touch the thing to slow it down.
Right.
You even see her step off. Like all these frames that, honestly, in the 90s version, they would have never paid for those frames. You would never see frames like that. You would see this, and that would be it the whole time.
Yeah.
And then they'd cut to her being off the treadmill. Right. And she'd be standing there static.
Well, that's what I said. I'm not completely hating on it, but it was just something something off on the mouth for some reason on all the characters was really odd for me. The way they animated that.
But I'm just so impressed by some of the animation and the detail that has gone into it. I just know that some animator spent so much time on that, and I just want to give that person a handshake. It's really cool. So anyway, do you have more rage on episode 3?
Not yet.
You've said your piece? Okay. Well, till we get there.
Yeah, until we get there.
The Goblin Queen subjects the X-Men to horrific visions before the real Jean confronts her telepathically. Morph leads the X-Men to one of Sinister's laboratories, which I love the laboratory, where they find him afflicting Nathan with a virus in the belief that it will turn him invulnerable and make him into the ultimate mutant. I hated seeing that kid in danger. Just putting him in a vat of stuff. I didn't like that.
I hated that whole scenario.
Yeah.
Because it was nothing like. I mean, once again, they could have had, him abduct Cable. This should have been 2 episodes.
Sorry, his name's Nathan? You keep saying Cable? I don't understand.
I don't give a shit. I know what I'm talking about. Anyway, They should have made this into 2 episodes.
But hey, pretty cool that Bishop gets to do some badass stuff, though.
Okay, and I'm also gonna complain about that.
Oh, now juice me up, Cyclops.
Yeah, that right there.
I loved it.
Does not happen.
I saw it happen
in the comic books.
It happened in real time.
Because of the fact that Cyclops has it's not energy beam. It's not electric. It's not energy. It's a concussive beam. It's actually a type of force field.
Well, he can't absorb that. It's a type of energy.
No, it's not.
It's a type of energy.
It's an interdimensional.
A physical force is a type of energy. It's a transference of energy.
And the only time Cyclops fought Bishop, he knocked the shit out of me. Yeah. And he did not absorb his power.
Well, that's not how it happened in this episode.
I know.
So,
I mean,
I don't know who to believe here.
Let's see. Most of the Disney directors and writers that have never ever read the source material, or the person that's
they've clearly read it.
No, most of these people haven't.
Well, they couldn't have gotten the story they got if they hadn't read some of these things.
Breezing through it, but I may know the material.
Yeah, I think you mean are familiar with and love it.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. And maybe they do, maybe they don't. Maybe it's just is something different to them.
That's just, there has been plenty out that these people they hire for these, directing and writing and stuff, they do not want anybody familiar and loving these properties because they want a new take.
Well, they accidentally made a take that I liked. So I got lucky here. But again, I understand why you're upset. But I don't agree. Although on this episode, I can agree a little. I do. But it's not enough to make me hate the show.
There was so much great story they could have made, and they didn't. Either they were lazy or they're trying to get somewhere. Well, and I mean, hell, the guy that's in charge isn't even employed anymore. So
right. It makes me wonder: are they just trying to get the hits in there? And so, we have 10 episodes or whatever it is. We want to tell as many iconic X-Men stories as we can in 10 episodes. How do we squeeze them together? That's probably what it is.
But if they're planning on several seasons, why bullshit us with some mashup crap where you can actually, the thing that I've argued the most, you've got all this great amount of history and stories. You can modify them some, but stick to the fucking Bible of these characters.
Right, it exists. Like, you can look at it.
You can't say, even though Kathleen Kennedy, some bullshit excuse. Well, there's nothing, backstory of Star Wars. Excuse me?
Oh, yeah, they're called the prequels.
No, I mean, there's called the extended universe. There's called,
No, they threw that out, Chris. You probably missed it.
I know, I did miss it, believe me.
I miss it personally, by the way.
That's how we got shit like the sequels.
All right, we don't have to go to Star Wars. We've done it. But
anyway, it's like you literally have way more material for all of these characters and great stories that you can go to, and you just throw shit together.
I guess my only response would be like, it's a 30-minute cartoon, so I'm happy to get what I can get, I guess. It would be cool if we could.
How many episodes usually did we used to get for cartoons?
Wasn't it 24 or more? I agree. But these things cost a lot. I agree. But listen, I think
here you go. Go back, get some fucking talented people that are artists, and make the shit. Employ some more people, do it right, and that way you would have everybody liking your stuff instead of calling you dickheads.
You know what would be cool?
Would
be if they would get on board with the thing that DC does really well. Like, maybe the thing DC does best is producing animated versions of some of their classics that are pretty faithful for the most part.
I mean, almost, yeah. I mean, look at Flashpoint.
Yeah.
Animated.
Recently I watched
what was it?
The
World
Long
War
Halloween
II,
one.
Long Halloween.
That was really faithful, I thought.
Dark Knight Returns.
There's a lot of really good ones.
I mean, you can
Dune Came to Gotham. Really, pretty good.
Yeah.
I would like to see, and maybe this is where they could finally do right by you on this. They could maybe do a longer version and maybe give us some of these classic X-Men storylines. What I would like to see come from this is a renewed interest in the X-Men. And I would like to see X-Men get to do some of those things in a full, longer form.
The
Give me
thing
90 minutes.
is there's tons of interest in the X-Men if they would do it right.
For sure.
I mean,
but I feel like this show is getting
movies,
close. Closer than those recent movies. Come on.
Oh, no, I mean, these episodes are closer to the animated series, and they're throwing in some of the better known comic aspects.
Yeah.
But I would not say they're close.
They're closer than some of those recent movies.
They're hitting
Chris.
on some bullet point. Oh, no, I'm not saying they're not.
You can't argue that.
I'm not saying they're not closer. But all they're doing is hitting a few bullet points instead of fleshing out an amazing story.
And I would like to see that.
I mean, the whole era, Mutant Registration Act, Fall of the Mutants, Age of Apocalypse, Inferno. I mean,
and if that was an option, that's what we'd be talking about right now. I would love to see that, and I hope we can get
Executioner Song,
I would love to see
Agenda. I mean, I can keep naming them that you can go over.
Sure.
I think I got so pissed my camera jumped.
I noticed the quality dropped, like it's scared of you. Anyway.
Okay.
I think you've made your point, and I think it's a valid point. Yeah. I do. So where were we? Jean telepathically confronts the Goblin Queen, reminding her of all the memories they share, both good and bad. The Goblin Queen snaps out of Sinister's control and turns against him, but Nathan is left gravely infected by the virus. Anytime I hear Goblin Queen, I'm thinking about Labyrinth.
Yeah. See, and this was one little thing, and I'm not going to rage about it.
Okay.
See, this was the one thing different, that it was actually Kitty Pryde that relieved her because she used the Soul Sword on Madeline Pryor.
Yes.
In like one of the peak moments of the storyline, to break her from the mental Goblin Queen thing.
And I want to point out something for you here. When we did our trailer, we watched the trailer, you said right off the bat, that's not Jean Grey, it's Madeline.
I know.
We have evidence of you saying it.
Yep.
I didn't know if the show was I didn't know how they were going to do it. You never know.
I didn't know where they were going to go with it, that they actually went into Inferno, but yeah, I knew that wasn't.
You absolutely nailed it, and there's proof. And it's funny because, I saw things all over like, oh, Jean Grey, everyone, no one, I was a lot of people that did get it, but I did see a lot of people that didn't know.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to give you a high
five.
And
those are the people that never read the comics.
I wanted to give you a high five for just calling that out. It was amazing. Anyway, the clone Jean and Cyclops send Nathan to the future with Bishop in the hope of finding a cure there. And then the clone Jean leaves the mansion, taking on the name Madeline Pryor, period. In a bar in Texas, Storm meets Forge, who tells her he can restore her powers.
And like I said, that was that little bit of change. I did like the 80s punk rock costume that they put her in.
For sure.
See, at that point, I wish they would have played a little more of her getting to that point.
Sure.
Because
I'll see what she's up to.
Visit, the Morlocks and her getting that look. And actually, I think in the comics it was Arizona where her and Forge.
Right.
And she knew Forge before that, so why that kind of introduction?
What do you mean? You see them meeting for the first time?
Yeah. I have the issue when they first met. It was way before that.
Okay.
Anyway.
Before 97?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I have to say, all in all, I think I will be watching the rest. I'm very much into it. I didn't think I would love it even, but I do somehow love it. It's working for me. It's working hard. So I know. I want to acknowledge that I think your complaints about this are extremely valid, and I understand why it might not be your favorite thing ever. But for me, if I'll just say this, if you were a fan of the X-Men cartoon before, or even just X-Men in general, I think this is some of the best X-Men stuff we've had in some time. X-Men being X-Men, doing X-Men stuff, looking like the X-Men. It gets done wrong so often, but this seems so, for me, it's just like right in the pocket.
I mean, I will give it that. I absolutely will. And I'll continue to watch unless it really goes downhill.
Sure.
I mean, I can only take so much blood pressure medicine. Remember the old TV sponge they used to have that looked like a brick that you could throw at it? I need to bring those back.
Maybe so.
Maybe that's a new marketing thing I need to make. You know, like the Pet Rock
TV brick.
TV brick.
Yep.
But anyway, no, I mean, I see flashes of what this could be or should have been. I think some of the things, were just I have more story issues with it because of the fact that I know it so well.
Yeah.
I can see people not liking it, just because it's kind of it wants to almost act like it goes back and forth between being a kids cartoon and then trying to be more for the people that watched it in the 90s.
Some of the parent stuff was hard for me to watch. So some of some of that stuff was tough. Some of that stuff got to me for sure. I did find it to be,
it's kind of, personally, it's like find a lane. If you want to go full in on the kids stuff, go on the kids stuff.
Yeah.
Be the, Spider-Man and Friends or Amazing Spider-Man.
Right.
Or if you're going to be this X-Men that's going to be slightly edgier, fucking do it right.
Sure. And that leads me to something else, which again, I think Marvel is just completely dropping the ball on. If you're having trouble getting live action movies made, you have a lot of characters who could use an animated series, an animated film, something more adult, something more mature, something that would work really well as
something
a cartoon.
That doesn't keep getting pushed back years and year after year.
If you're not watching the YouTube version, I'm holding up my t-shirt, which has Blade on it.
Yes.
Give me a Blade, either animated movie that's rated R or like.
Well, it doesn't look like it's going to be until like 2026.
Dude, Midnight Suns is the perfect concept for a TV show, and let it be mature rated.
Oh yeah, I mean, absolutely.
Let it be an animated. Just use this kind of animation and
and the thing is if you do a live action, things like Ghost Rider, he is not the spirit of vengeance all the time.
No, he's not. Well, okay, wait.
You can save the budget somewhat.
Well, hang on. If we're doing Midnight Suns, Rise of the Midnight Suns, he is Ghost Rider all the time because he has to be, because what's his nuts will die.
Right.
The other guy will die if he stops being the spirit of vengeance.
Yes. And Johnny Blaze is separate.
But Johnny Blaze is Johnny Blaze, and he has a magical shotgun that shoots fire.
So I mean, you can run kind of, Ghost Rider as he only comes out when they have to battle.
You could do a Ghost Rider TV show where he goes across the country, and it's like it's just do like $6 million.
No, I'm saying if you do Midnight Suns.
Well, sure, that could work.
Great. He's the nuclear deterrent when you get in, over your head.
Right. Call the writer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but we don't want to call him unless we have to, because he's
right.
He's horrible.
So I mean, that's how you're saving money. Blades. You put a guy that's good at martial arts.
Yeah.
Put a set of teeth on him and a pair of Ray-Bans.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you need for Blade.
Oh, I disagree with you on that. Unless you're talking about just a cartoon. A cartoon is fine. But if you're talking live action. No. Look, we've had more than one live action Blade, and one of them works and one of them doesn't.
I think honestly, live action, was it Michael Jai White?
Was he not up for the role, but then Snipes got it?
Mm-hmm.
He would have been great.
He would be great now.
But also the previous year he was Spawn.
I know.
So that sucks that he blew it on Spawn.
That new Spawn movie is never happening either. So
no, it's not.
Making Blade.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be fine with him being Blade if he's into it. He would be good. I mean, he literally was Blade in the Midnight Suns. He voiced him.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Don't get me wrong. I like
Mahershala.
Mahershala, but I don't think he has the physical chops to do the fighting part of.
I think it's going to be incredibly difficult to replace Snipes. He's so perfect as Blade.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I don't know.
I think Jai White is probably the only person that can probably do it.
He does come close as far as the physical stuff. You're right. He is a fit man.
And he's like
and
awesome
he's a martial
arts.
artist. Yeah.
Like,
so that could work for sure. But anyway, we're not talking about Blade. I'm just saying Marvel, maybe some cool cartoons.
And make it a better animation, a worthwhile to watch an animation.
Sure.
I mean, I'm not saying this is horrible, but I wouldn't watch a full entire like darker movie like this. I would watch more of like, Flashpoint animation.
Sure.
I
would want it to be a little bit more
Dark Knight Returns animation.
Yeah. I agree.
That kind of grittier. If you're gonna do something, even with the X-Men,
Right. It could happen. Come on, like a Ghost Rider cartoon where it's like the Hulk show where he's just going from town to town,
right,
dealing with thugs and stuff and criminals.
It's
so easy.
For God's sakes, you can do that with Wolverine.
100%. You could do so well. Wolverine is like a whole other. He's so easy to do. You could put Wolverine in anything. Same with like their Predator, like, so, with the Predator movies they're doing, it's like, oh, what if it's like this time period and a Predator shows up? Do that with Wolverine. What if it's this time period and Wolverine shows up?
You can do an anthology series for years.
Yes, forever.
Yeah. I mean, just get the right guy to do it, and that's what I mean. It seems like it's such an easy fix for the downturn that Marvel has been doing, and they keep just shooting themselves in the ass.
Well, hopefully once they finish this cycle of whatever it is, they make this correction.
I mean,
these are the things we want to see.
This honestly needs to Deadpool movie that comes out in a few months needs to be Deadpool kills the Marvel universe. And then completely
just start over. It's a good way to do it. It's a really good way to do it.
It really needs to happen.
Yeah.
Because, don't get me wrong. Downey was the perfect Tony Stark.
He's Iron Man.
I thought Chris Evans did a very good Captain America.
Yep. I didn't love him at first, but I grew to appreciate his cap. Yes.
By the time we hit Winter Soldier and Civil War, I liked him a lot more.
Yep.
Even Doctor Strange.
I felt the same way. I did not love him at first, but the more I saw him, the more it feels okay.
But it would not hurt my feelings to reboot every one of them.
Chris, we've been saying that for years, and I still fully agree. Let's just boot them all out. Don't keep anybody. Start over. Sorry, I know there's some of these beloved actors and whatever. Bring them back as multiverse or whatever.
And let's get some new actors in the fold. Stop getting freaking Pedro Pascal and...
oh, you mean Mr. Fantastic?
Pedro Pascal and what's his face that plays Moon Knight?
Oh, yeah, Duke Leto Atreides.
Yeah. And Poe Dameron.
Oh my God, what is his name? I shouldn't forget the name of this man.
Let's quit putting them in fucking everything.
You seen that movie where he's a computer guy?
Yeah.
What's that movie called? Where he makes that woman?
I know what you're talking about. Oh, was it Deus Ex Machina?
That's it. Deus Ex, whatever it is. Ex Machina. It's just called Ex Machina.
Yeah.
And his name is, wait, and I'm not Googling anything. Hand check. His name is, everyone is screaming. We should not have spent this long.
I know.
Trying to remember the name of, I'm about to say it.
Juan's going to kill us.
No, they're all going to kill us.
I know.
Oh, Dameron, Duke Leto. Dude, we're 1,000 years old, Chris.
I know. Well, it's a freaking 9 o'clock almost at night. So,
what is his name? This is bad.
I know.
This is very
We'll
bad.
have to put a sorry tag on.
I probably will.
Yeah.
Like we used to have to do when we couldn't remember.
Yeah. But I mean, it's so easy. And you would make so much freaking money if you did this shit right.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean,
I agree.
why
Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac, yes.
Oscar Isaac.
Sorry, Oscar. But I
Oh
mean,
my God. Wow, I'm a bad person.
Anyway, that's still my point. Quit fucking putting them in everything.
Well, and we already talked about it, but like I'm okay with Pedro being Mr. Fantastic.
I'm not.
It works for me in this version of the universe. But if we start over, whatever, let's start everyone over. We don't have time.
We start
Chris,
with everybody else but him.
We don't have time to get into this now. We already talked about it. We have a whole episode about it. Go back and find that. Listen, if you're not in the Discord, please join the Discord. Tell us your thoughts on the X-Men. Tell us your thoughts on Late Night with the Devil. Come hang out with us. We're in there all the time. I love it when listeners will just drop in, like when you see comic book news, you know where it needs to go. You drop it to us. When you see interesting movie news, you drop it to us, please.
Yes.
We'd love having you guys in there, and that conversation is always fun. So a shout out to the Discord.
And none of the rage is really mean-spirited.
No, it's fine.
We want to see these things. And I mean, there was on the one where we did the first look on the X-Men, there were some people throwing shade, and I had to school somebody. But anyway, it's none of this is mean-spirited. We are huge fans of this stuff.
That's why we're doing this.
Want it done right.
Yeah.
I mean, if we hated this, we would not be doing this.
Right. That's true. That's true. So come in and talk to us, please.
Yes. So just know that my rage is out of a place of love. I may want to Hulk smash the shit out of all of Anaheim Disney Studios.
I'm going to order you a brick. I'm going to order you a brick.
As I said, I need to freaking make those.
All right. Well, thanks for being with us.
Yes.
This has been an interesting episode, and we'll be back next time.
Come back next time.
Like
David
always.
Smallchin, give us a call.
Yeah, please. If anyone is like family or friends with him, just please.
I mean, we're in his birth state, so.
And look, he has no business being here, but we would still, if you know him, get him on here, please. I have a lot of nice things to say about it.
Yes.
All right. I have no more to say on this episode.
I have no more to say either, so I'm
okay. That's it then.
All right. Have a good one, guys.
Have a good night.
See you next time.
Goodbye, everyone.
Get on Discord.
Bye.